press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
When I was practicing as a general care physician in the armed forces, a patient came up to me one evening demanding treatment for fever. I took his temperature, which was slightly raised, and even before I could ask him another question, he said, "ये fever सिर्फ रात में आता है, मुझे 6 महीने से है, this is simple viral fever, I just need a few medicines from you." All he wanted from me was paracetamol and amoxicillin because his local chemist shop was shut. Fortunately so, as you will come to know later. I tried to talk some sense into him. I explained to him that fever with an evening preponderance suggests a more grave diagnosis than he had thought. Fortunately, after my clinical examination, he saw the light in my judgment and agreed to get investigations done. He was diagnosed with tuberculosis of the lung. Had he not stopped to collect paracetamol, I shudder to think how his infection would have progressed to the spine or the brain and the lasting effects of that. How a simple lack of judgment would have affected him for a much longer period than a simple viral fever would. How a disease that can be treated with, which is treated easier when early, becomes more difficult to treat as it progresses. How self-medication would have been the only reason for his suffering and downfall. Self-medication. Hello, I'm Dr. Aseem Sharma and welcome to another episode of Healthcare Insights. Self-medication is one of the commonest reasons for increased morbidity and mortality, even due to minor causes of disease. It is rampant in every specialty, every community, and every country across the globe. But it's nothing short of an epidemic when it comes to our country. Why, you ask me? Let me explain this at, how this is wrong, how self-medication is wrong at multiple levels. So firstly, when you decide to self-medicate, you have already assumed a diagnosis or you have diagnosed yourself based on incomplete knowledge, some vague past experience, and Dr. Google. The first step itself is flawed, as you have placed utmost faith in a diagnosis that may very well be incorrect, as in the example that I gave you above. So now you've diagnosed yourself and you need medication. Now a fair amount of Google search can give you an idea of what to buy. If not Google search, some elder in the family, a keen neighbor, an overzealous kitty mate, or even a drinking buddy. Online medication portals can tell you what brands to buy, what dosing schedules to follow, how to take those medicines. So you have a diagnosis, you have medications, you know what to buy. What you do not know here are what interactions these medicines will have with food or with other drugs that you might be taking, or overall, you do not know how to monitor your treatment either. Anyways, so the next part now is what is the most dangerous part. In India, you can walk up to any chemist shop and purchase anything ranging from a licensed over-the-counter drug or an OTC like paracetamol, right up till a psychiatric medication, anti-cancer drugs. You can do all of this without a valid prescription, and I'm sure most of you already know that. Even an old prescription can refill drugs for you which you might not need to continue in the first place. The main reason here is that the sole purpose that a drugstore owner serves is to make sales. Now don't get me wrong, I have many friends, many pharmacists who are do-gooders. They check prescriptions, they validate prescriptions, they ask for prescriptions, even for simple medications. Unfortunately, in India, there are only a handful of such people. So for the rest of you, like I mentioned, it is possible for you to purchase anything under the sun without a valid prescription. So you ended up with an improper diagnosis, which is wrong in all probability. You ended up with incorrect medications. Even if you have the correct medications, you still are liable to the potential of drug interactions and complications and life-threatening side effects. All because you did not want to trust your doctor. Meanwhile, you trusted the clinical judgment of your elders in the family, your neighbors, your kitty partners, your parlor lady, even your rummy partner for that matter, but you did not trust your doctor. Self-medication is often perceived as personal independence from a medical establishment, a human right per some schools of thought. While I agree with the notion and I maybe agree with the sentiment behind that notion, I have a few questions for you to ponder upon. At what cost does self-medication come? Is it a well-calculated individual decision, or is it a decision that has been influenced by neighbors, social media, or vague past experiences? When should you put your foot down? When should you say enough and finally seek medical help? And even after you do, is it already too late? Until next time, this is Dr. Aseem Sharma, and I wish you take very good care of yourselves, and I want you to ponder over these questions and find the answers to these questions personally yourselves. If you agree with my thoughts, please do spread the word and share the video. Until next time, goodbye.